You want a really quick, easy way to make a set of machinist jacks? Stay tuned. Alright guys, today in the shop I'm going to be showing you a really simple way to make a set of machinist jacks. I'm in the middle of a project right now working on the fly cutter, and I've got a lot of stick out that's going to be off the side of the mill vise, and I need to support the work to drill the holes for the grub screws. So I didn't have any machinist jacks, so what I did was I got to thinking about what I could do, and it takes forever to make a nice pretty set like you see all the time on a lot of the machining channels, which those are beautiful works of art and all that, but I really want to get this done, so I'm going to go ahead and do a down and dirty set, and I'll show you how I did it. It's really simple, and it cost, I don't know, around $5 to make each one, and I think they'll turn out to be very useful and probably be like another one of those tools that, or in typical fashion, I'll make something in the moment that I need at the time, and I don't make it very pretty, and then I wind up using it forever and it just hangs out in my toolbox. So anyway, come along and see what you think. So the setup I'm trying to work on right here, as you can see, I'm gonna have to drill those holes for those grub screws, and that's sticking out way off of the vise. Now the jack as it is, of course, is way too tall, but I really like that 5/8. It's nice and beefy. So what I've done is I turned it over. Let's see so you can see the mark. I've got that mark just down below the base of the vise. And what I've done is I took the bandsaw and cut the bolt off flush in there. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back with the bandsaw and I'm going to hack that off real quick all the way through. Then I'll put it in the lathe and face it off. So now we'll get it back over to the lathe, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to spin it backwards. That way when I get into the bolt, it'll keep it tight inside the nut there. And all these are all thread coupling nuts. If I'm going to have enough reach here, I got to get all the way to the other side because I'm turning it backwards. Come on, baby. Oh. Story of my life. Now, I really don't want to have to put my compound on here. So I think what I'm going to do, since all I'm doing is a facing operation, is I'm going to extend my tool out a little bit. Now, I'm sure the more astute of you have already noticed what I'm about to do, and I am still blissfully unaware of just how stupid I am at this point right now. Whoa! Now that was really dumb. Let's go back and enjoy my stupidity in slow motion. Well, that was not cool, and I was not thinking at all on that. Wow. I was so caught up on clamping the jaws down on this, I was going to spin it backwards. But since I'm actually chucking the bolt up, I can spin the lathe forward. So that's going to be an awesome outtake. So let me reposition my tool. back where it belongs. That was actually scary and cool at the same time. So let's try this again. What I'm going to do here, since I haven't made a carriage lock yet, I'm going to use my lead screw as a lock here. Just so I can make sure I get that good and flat. The problem with using the lead screw is you're locked into whatever the thread pitch is. You have no fine control. But for this operation, it's not critical. I'm not trying to hit a critical dimension. I'm just trying to get it flat. Well, I'm having a day, guys. How about that? It's the first time I've ever broken an insert. Well, let me get that fixed and get back on it. That was a little too much. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to ease into that tooth on the lead screw. Made me have to take too aggressive of a cut. So I'm going to ease into that. It's like I'm going to have to, I need to adjust my tool post too. I'm just a hair low. Looks like I gouged it when I broke that, so I'm going to have to go a little bit deeper. Good, that got those gouges out of there. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is get this guy faced off on the top of that bolt, just to give me a flat surface up there. So what I did is I tried to turn just ever so slight bit of crown on that. So I'll take it over and file it and sand it up. So I have yet to get a glass plate, just an old picture frame or something, to get a piece of glass to have a nice flat surface. So I'm just using this weight here. This is a piece of cast iron out of a weight set that I've been using to make some things out of. This plate's so small, it's really hard to do a figure 8 pattern. So what I'm doing, I'm going the same direction, but I'm continuously rotating, and I'm trying to put a little bit of a crown on this. I'm going to go ahead and file this inside corner a little bit, because it's got kind of a sharp edge, and I don't want that to maybe push out when the bolts run down and gouge the table on the mill. So I just want to make sure all of the surfaces are broken, no sharp edges anywhere. So in my setup, I'm going to need to put another little machinist jack on the other half of the vise so that when I clamp down on it, it doesn't distort the vise. So what I'm going to do is pretty much the same thing I just did with the 5/8, but I'm going to do it with the 3/8. So I got the 3/8 jack turned down, and you can see what the operation is there. Basically, I'm just holding those jaws so that when I clamp down on it, they don't distort. But I've run into a problem over here on this side. I've always struggled with this vise of running into problems with the toe clamps back here at the fixed jaw. I wish those grooves that you use to, I don't know what you call them, but where you put the toe clamps in to attach the vise to the table, I wish they went a little farther back here so it'd be away from that fixed jaw. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make one more of these 5/8 jacks, and then I'm going to put it on this side and then span across there to give it some support, because it doesn't need a tremendous amount of support, but I don't want it free floating out there. So that's my workaround right there. And what I did is I use that big thick strap of aluminum to bridge that gap and give it just enough support when I go to drill on it. Now of course I don't have that dialed in, I just have it sitting up there. And then I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put a strip of aluminum between my jaws. I don't have that really tight, I'm not clamped down very hard yet, but what I'll do is I'll put some sacrificial aluminum or something in there, because I don't want that to scar up my jaws. And the one thing I would say, this is down and dirty. It works okay, but I can see where a real set of machinist jacks with fine threads and round heads on them are a lot easier to adjust. If you need a lot of torque, it's kind of nice to be able to put the wrench on there, but that's not generally what you use a machine jack for. But anyway, that's a set of 3 machinist jacks, and except for my screw-ups, that went pretty quick. And a side note, that carbide bit, for some reason, when I was trying to machine the bolt heads and the nuts, I was really struggling with that, and so I grabbed a piece of high-speed steel and sharpened it up, and it cut beautifully. So what I did is I went back and threw that other one back in the lathe and went back over it, and then it was so easy to finish with the sandpaper. But anyway, that's it for the machinist jack. I mean, I've got probably $15 in those 3, and I have enough material to make some more, so it's definitely well worth it in a pinch. So I hope you enjoyed the drama in that video. On a serious note, I want you guys to understand, and I'm sure most people watching this probably understand better than I do, but this equipment can be dangerous, and if you don't keep your mind on what you're doing and really think about what you're doing, you can get yourself hurt. And you know, that didn't look too dramatic in the video, but that was very dangerous. And another thing that someone has brought up to me in the past said, hey, why are you wearing gloves when you're using rotating equipment like that? And that's a good point, and I shouldn't be doing that, and I forget and leave them on because I'm trying to keep my hands clean and, you know, just trying to keep some of the grease off my hands. But I'm going to be a whole lot more diligent about that. That's the first time I've had anything like that happen with the equipment, and it scared me pretty good. But you know, just keep your head in the game and don't do like I did. I lost where I was at. I lost what I was doing. I didn't think my processes through, my order of operations. You know, I was driving back from Home Depot when I was thinking about the order of operations and how I was going to turn that, and I was thinking, well, you know, that bolt's inside, so then when I come through the nut, I'm going to hit the bolt. That's going to turn the opposite direction. I totally got lost where I was at, and it happened just that fast. And I was really lucky that I didn't get hurt or that I didn't break my lathe. So just keep that in mind, to be very careful with this equipment, because it can be very dangerous. But I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope that those machinist jacks are something that you may want to try to make if you're just starting out, or you just need one in a hurry and it's down and dirty. They're pretty simple, they're pretty easy to make, and it didn't take me long at all, even with the disasters that I had on there. So hope to see you on the next one, and hope you guys have a good week.